What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are kind of piecing together a few different days that I had been working on my friend's first gen Sequoia. We did the Coastal Offroad Bumper. It's a weld together kit he ordered some time ago, and we put it together for him. I'm doing this with the same Harbor Freight Flux core welder that I use for pretty much everything on my 80 series Land Cruiser. Yeah, it was kind of a lengthy process to do it all, which is why I did it in a few different days and a few different parts of the month. But I put it all together. That's going to be today's video. A couple of you have asked for an update on the Tacoma. So yeah, we fabricated this in an earlier video. He has the Ironman rooftop tent now. We will be doing a video on that soon. I'm sorry I haven't got to it. Everything's the same. We still have the, and I'm going to forget the name of these bumpers. I think they're All Pro. I'll put it up here if I'm mistaken. Still have the All Pro bumpers. What else? Yeah, it has the hitch integrated here for a recovery point or obviously towing. So he got rid of the stock one. He's gone with some STT Pro 30 or 315 75R16s on his same wheels. Unfortunately, as you can see, we had a little bit of an incident. Unfortunately, he works for a private security company up here in Vancouver, and he was a victim of a bash in and theft. He lost about $1,000 worth of tools and camping equipment. So that set him back quite a bit, unfortunately, and it's really frustrating that stuff is so rampant in this part of the country, any big city in the country really for that matter. But yeah, highly unfortunate. We're going to be looking to get a fix for that soon. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. Front bumper, I think we did the video for the Badlands installation, the Apex 12,000 pound winch on the front there. It's the same one I have on the Land Cruiser. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as an update on the Tacoma. That's not what this video is about, though. This video is about the Sequoia. Our new upload schedule is going to be Tuesday and Friday mornings at 6 a.m. Pacific time. I know my upload schedule has been really random lately, so it's going to be Tuesday and Friday at 6 a.m. in the morning. All right, so without further ado, let's get into today's video. All right, so I'm about halfway done the Coastal Offroad bumper for the Sequoia here, and I just want to show you real quick. Kind of, we got the center part of the bumper done. So there's two bolt locations basically on each side. Two here. These are just these aren't the correct hardware. I'm gonna get the right ones to replace those. One here, and then one on the inside down there. So those are gonna allow this to come off when I go to paint it and clean up and then paint it. But for the most part, you got a couple plates here that weld together, and then this is the front plate, the face plate for your lights, your winch fair lead, and then a little bit of a skid plate. So it's kind of what it looks like. Again, these aren't cleaned up yet. This is all just kind of in the beginning stages and tacked together. Projects like these are a little difficult at first if you don't have the right magnets and that kind of stuff. But if you have the help of a friend, it's really easy to just kind of tack one into place, make sure that it's slotted, line it up, tack it, build off of it. So All right, so it's actually the night before we're getting started on the Sequoia, and I've gone ahead and just kind of mocked up the sliders. These are a two-piece, so there's your two pieces there, one with the hoop and then your straight piece. And these are 74 inches, so these are a little bit longer if you're wondering for getting yours custom done. A lot of guys on Facebook Marketplace will make these so that you can kind of just weld them together and they work for any application. So this was measured to be 74 inches for the Sequoia. So this has come with 4 gussets. I went and spaced them out about 12 inches, little 13 inches apart, so they're all uniform before the bends in the hoop runner. So obviously, you know, they're all the same length, and luckily these were all notched beforehand. So this is actually just leaning on the welder here. I'm gonna go ahead and clamp it together, and I'm gonna tack. I learned this the hard way from doing my sliders on the Land Cruiser. These work fine, but what I learned is you want to obviously tack, 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 and so on, kind of like a head gasket on a truck, so that if you're just finishing one whole weld, it's going to start to bow and flex and deform. So you really want to try and just tack everything together. That way, if you mess anything up, you have the chance to take an angle grinder, cut it out, and fix it. So I'm going to go ahead and start tacking these all together, and I'll bring you back. All right, so that went pretty well. Got that kind of brown slag, typical of the flux core. We're all tacked in there. Just on this one side, probably would have been a better idea to tack on the other sides as well, but it'll be fine. We'll go ahead and flip it over and do those tacks and then fill everything in. Just in case you're wondering, this is 120 wall DOM, 1.5 inch tubing. So relatively thick. My settings, I'm on F for voltage or amperage. And wire feed, I like to go pretty fast, so around 7. You can mess around with your settings a little bit. That's what I found works pretty good with my sliders. This is a little bit, it's about the same material. Mine was 125 wall, this is 120 wall. We're using the Vulcan 035 wire. So there's a little wheel in here that's set to 030. When you open it, you just pop it open and flip it over, and you got your 035 serrated wheel here, which will feed it through. And this is the Vulcan you can get from Harbor Freight. So they also have all your settings here, which I've gone over in a previous video as far as your suggested settings go. I always like to just kind of play around with mine until I get it just right. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and tack the other side and pretty much just get this all finished up, and I'll bring you back and show you the quality or the lack thereof of the welds after. All right, so I've finished up pretty much all the welds on these sliders here. Just kind of wanted to give you a little, show you what it looks like at the end. These little specks are the most frustrating thing about the flux core, but all in all, it's not a huge issue. And the reason that those are there is because the gas is already in the wire. But I'm kind of, you know, I've gotten it down pretty well right now. I know some people will definitely say that these are not pretty. I think these are pretty acceptable for a $170 or $50 welder. And the point is they get the job done. You know, you could do a whole penetration test and do all that stuff. And, you know, the point is, you know, we got this done. It's sealed with the exception of these ends here. Something to point out that I've noticed a lot of slider kits or a lot of sliders come with, or if you make your own, a lot of people forget about this part, and it leaves you with having to go get a hole saw and then try and drill through steel, which is not the most fun if you don't have the tools. I mean, I can do it, and I'm going to do it for this customer because his kit didn't come with it, and I have some extra steel laying around. But obviously, you don't want to leave that unsealed, because you get water in there and it's going to rust from the inside out. You'll have, you know, all sorts of issues, and it'll rust on stuff, and it's just not ideal. So I know that Barnes 4x4, I watch Dirt Lifestyle's channel. Really cool channel. If you like fabrication, go check out Dirt Lifestyle. He is local here to Washington, the Pacific Northwest as well, and just a phenomenal fabricator and a great guy. Not that I don't know him, but I watch his channel. So anyways, yeah, he recommends to go to barnes4x4.com, and they'll give you those end caps. Obviously, you have to match it with your inner diameter of the wall of whatever you're working with. This again is 1.5 inches. But we're gonna go ahead and make these end caps and then get started on the next slider. And yeah, so this is the night before. You'll have already seen us starting on the bumper. So another thing that I've realized, and I thought I should point out, that with this flux core machine, since it's gasless, I found that I always pretty much will find the 45-degree angle. Say I'm going here this way. I've always found that I want to pull. So as I'm going, I'm going like this. So I'm making little circles like this, and I'm pulling it. You know, like I'm scratching it like this, but also making circles. Whereas when I was using a MIG machine with gas, shielding gas, I was pushing, because you have that shielding cup, which is offering you the shielding gas on top of your weld pool. So I thought that that was a good thing to mention with the Flux Core 125, is that I like to pull. And another thing that I think is important, and the reason why my old machine ended up crapping out, had to do with mainly just this thing, really. It had to do with this. This is all the way tight now, but this wheel inside here has these little mesh teeth, and it got shredded out, or the teeth kind of lost their sharpness, because I had my feed would be at like weird angles and kinked sometimes, so it would like stutter and jitter, and that would cause it to start machining basically down these teeth. Because this wire is, you know, it's steel. It's not soft. It looks like tennis string. I used to work for a tennis shop and string tennis rackets. It looks exactly like something like that, like Luxilon, but it's not. So another good thing is on your spool, these are just 2-pound spools. It's not a bad idea to grease the inside of it so that it just flows a little bit smoother, and that'll prolong the life of your welder. I don't believe from the videos I've seen that you can get these individually, because everything comes from China. So, and it's not in their best interest to ship parts like that. They'd rather just, you know, have you return it and get a whole new one, which is important to get the warranty with. Anyways, just thought I'd mention that. All right, so just like with the Land Cruiser, we just got 3 jack stands. 2 of them are just holding the catamaran of the slider, and then the third is propped up against the outside outrigger. And what that does, allows you to get a sturdy base to set and see your clearance. We're going with a lot more clearance on this than the Land Cruiser because of where the door sills open. So we don't want to have this flex if it's on rocks and then not be able to open the doors. So there's a lot more clearance. Here we have like 1/2 inch for the runners. But what I like to do is get it set up like that, and then we have our runners here and here. We're deciding to go with 3 on this setup. So the ones on the outside I weld to the catamaran first. It's not welded to the frame yet. We still have to use a flap disc for the paint on the frame. And then the middle one, I decide to almost just cut last, because you want to get your edges secured so you stay true throughout the whole length of the pinch weld. So you want to stay true from here to here, and then you can cut this one to measure. And they're all just, I'll have them kind of sitting up there. That one I'm going to move into place a little bit more upwards, obviously, is where we want to weld it, right around here. Hold on. Right around there. So then we'll tack that one into place, and then we'll take this whole thing away from it because it's not welded to the frame. We'll grind everything down, grind all the rust and the mill scale off, hit it with the self-etching primer and then the black paint, and then we can come back with our flap disc and then just weld it, since everything will be in place and painted, so we don't have to try and paint it on the vehicle with trying to get, trying to avoid overspray. And because we're just tacking it and not finishing the weld just yet, that allows us to get a good measurement. Otherwise things will deform. So now the slider is all painted, all the welds are finished on the runners. So we've hit the frame with the flap disc on all of the mounting points, and we're just gonna go right into the frame. Yeah, it works really well like that. So again, you go here, here, then here, tack everything, weld it, finish your welds on everything, paint it, and then leave all of your jacks where they were, and then just put it right back up there, hit your flap disc on your frame, and then begin your welding. I wanted to show this too. I thought this was really funny. There's 5 sunglass holders in this car. 5. This is like an extra big one. 5 sunglass holders. I just thought it was really cool, but also just kind of like different, like I wonder what they were thinking there. Does anybody work at Toyota and know what the thought process was? If you could comment down below, that'd be pretty cool. But anyways, she's all finished. So unfortunately, it's tough this time of year to get a good day without rain here in the Pacific Northwest, but we made it work. Sliders are in, or on rather. It's got the little kicker there. Yeah, it looks really good. He's going to be adding a winch and some lights. I believe that's C and O for Coastal Offroad, but these are actually for lights. And then that's for your fair lead for your winch, obviously. And it acts as kind of a skid plate too. And as you can see, he's got some D-ring shackles. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, so there's the other one. We did them at about, I want to say, somewhere between 10 to 15 degrees of angle that way. So it looks good. But yeah, if you want to see how to make your own sliders out of this Dom tubing, I've done that before. So if you check my other videos, you can see how to use a Harbor Freight tube bender to actually make your own. And you can add whatever hoops or whatever you like to the slider and make it your own. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comments below. And until next time, I'll see you on the trails.